Welcome to the junkyard.
We're back.
We're back.
Caden died again.
Yeah, but Will has been resurrected since last episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I missed an episode.
We've all really missed like three episodes,
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
since
guys.
our last congregation.
College be like that, you know.
That was okay. We get it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what Matthew and I talked about last. Oh yeah, mergers.
Yeah,
Mergers.
AI and
Yeah, we had a very
media
lengthy
landscape.
Yep.
So you guys talked about Fable in the notes. That shit looks cool. I'm not gonna.
I don't even think we did. I don't even think we did.
Did you not? Oh.
I don't even think we did.
I actually don't think Fable looks good, but that's that's
look.
that's
All
why you have personal opinions.
Well,
No, we
I've
did
only
not.
seen like the smallest things about it. I just think it looks silly and.
We only got to that first point that's on the docket for that day.
Yeah,
Really? You talked about the Warner Brothers Netflix acquisition for an entire episode?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the
Spiraled.
Oscars actually.
It kind of like spiraled. Like,
Oh my
into
god.
a
I totally
broader
forgot.
conversation.
There's so much there's actually a lot to cover, but I don't think we're gonna be able to go through it. Everyone knows the Oscars happened, I think.
Yeah. I think we don't.
Or
know
not
about
happened. They
that.
haven't happened yet. By
I
this
think we need to
recording,
talk-
but
I want to draw the viewers' attention to something that's more recently occurred.
Yeah.
Okay.
we can.
Matthew's
Let's-
got to talk about something that happened.
I'm
just-
sorry
Let's be
to
more
hijack.
contemporary. Yeah.
Sorry to hijack
Yeah.
here, but I'm a big ice hockey fan. When
Ice
it comes to
hockey?
the Olympics, bro, I was
Yeah.
watching the women's ice hockey because I was going. I wasn't really sleeping that well anyway, so I was up at
Wait,
4 a.m. anyway.
I think I actually know how this story ends.
I was watching all the matches. I watched Japan versus Sweden live actually.
Dude, I bet did Sweden win or lose? Carl needs to know.
Or wait, no, actually it was Japan versus Italy. Sorry, I watched
Oh.
that. That was the first game I watched, and that was like the second game of the tournament for the women's side of things. And our women's team took home the gold. We beat Canada 2-1. But that was kind of expected on the women's side. We have a great women's hockey program here in the U.S. Okay, we've got some phenomenal women. So shout out to them.
Shout out to our women.
Shout out to
And then-
women.
Our men, on the other hand. Okay, we have a one.
Fuck those guys.
No,
dude.
no,
Did they win? They won too.
Oh.
I'm saying.
I thought this- okay.
I spoiled it.
I don't even know what happens. I just assumed it was
Our
gonna be
men
negative.
hasn't won a gold medal in hockey in over 46 years. The last time you won a
Oh.
gold medal,
Okay.
it was called the Miracle on Ice because we beat Russia in 1980 in the Olympics with a bunch of high schoolers. This year we
Tough.
come in, we're the
That is
underdogs.
tough.
We're not supposed to win gold, right? We're playing Canada in the final.
Oh, Canada lost to us twice? That's crazy.
So we
Poor
play Canada in the
Canada,
final
bro.
in their sport. You know how they like to make fun of us because we call ourselves the best in the world at a sport that nobody else plays.
Yeah, we are the world champions at football, Matthew. Don't fucking take that away. The Seattle Seahawks are the world champions of American football, Matthew.
So we go and we play Canada in the final. In regulation time, we score an unbelievable goal at the start of the game, and then we're basically playing defense the rest of the game. They score a goal. It is what it is. They should have easily put 4 goals in the back of the net. There's open goals. They could have scored so easily, right? But they didn't. Okay, we were chucking dudes left and right in front of the goal. It was crazy, right? Me and my dad were watching it
That
live
was
this
locked
morning
in.
at 6 a.m. And it goes to overtime. It starts off, they have possession. They shoot, they miss. We take the puck up the ice rink. We pass it back, and Hughes shoots and scores. Hughes is bleeding profusely from the mouth because he got hit
Oh, I
with
think
a
I saw
stick.
that. I think
Got
I
hit
saw
with the
that
stick.
image. Yeah.
So he shot the goal though, and we win because it's golden goal. So last goal wins, and we won.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
The
That's fucking
underdogs
awesome.
won, first time in 46 years.
And I did not follow ice hockey, but I did follow a little bit. I didn't actually watch it, but I've seen a lot about it. Ice skating, where
We did
we
good at that
also
too.
Alyssa Liu won the first gold medal for women's skating in 20 years or something like that. So Pretty fucking sick.
W's for everybody. Awesome.
W's for Americans.
I don't for America. I think at a time like this, we kind of need something like that. We need a little bit of.
It's nice to actually
boost.
not to I fear this comment will sound very political, and I don't mean it to be, but at a time like this, it's nice to be really proud of USA. It's nice to be all in on
when there's
on
potentially a lack of ability to have that pride in other places. However that manifests to you.
However you
however that interprets it to you. Wow, well that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
congratulations to both the ice hockey teams, men's and women's of America, and also the women's figure skater. You said.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and pull.
She's got that
Try and get.
I did my own hockey watching last night. Actually, funny enough, I watched Inside Out too.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, Matthew, get Alyssa Liu on the pod.
Interview Alyssa Liu. We're not a trio of non-sports commentators interviews an Olympic champion.
She's 19, bro. She's 19. Yeah, she's like.
So we're gonna put her on to interview about Chainsaw Man and D&D.
Hold on. The interviews are gonna be about some nerd ass topic.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're an Olympic figure skater, Olympic gold medal placing figure skater of America, but what's your favorite D&D build? You know what I mean? Like, what's your go-to build? What's your go-to build?
That's the important fucking question. That's the important fucking
question.
No,
I'm not questioning whether she plays D&D. I don't not believe you. I'm just more in awe of like the content matter of the interview for an Olympic gold champion.
But we're not. You said it yourself, Noah. We're not sports commentators. We're the wrong people to be.
Okay, then I guess that's her fault if she accepts it.
Yeah, it would be.
It's not a fault. It's like different perspectives.
Then it's her fault.
She should expect.
She should be aware of what she's getting into. Then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
exactly. That's
then
not the type of show.
Being interviewed by the three best podcasters of our generation, the three best philosophers of our generation. We got Aristotle, we got Plato,
Socrates.
Bang!
That's us, bro. We're the new.
Oh my god. We are guided by truth, beauty, and justice, and we are.
Dude, I watched Vinland Saga recently, and I was like doing a lot of self-reflecting in my.
It's a manga, or not manga, an anime about Vikings.
Oh, okay.
No,
it seems cool.
It's deeper than that. It's about. Like,
it's not relevant. That's what you're wondering, Will. It's not relevant. Okay. It's not relevant.
Perfect.
But I think Matthew might spin it around here on us.
Yeah, he's a thinker. He said he was thinking.
He's a thinker here.
I honestly
he knows how to think. Bro.
It is funny because I'm in a introduction to moral philosophy class right now, and I keep donking about things, and I'm like, man, I want to hear what Matthew and Noah have to say about this, and that's a thought I actually keep having. So,
I'm in an introduction to political philosophy class, so I wonder where these kind of cross over.
I'm in fluid flow.
Hey, I'm in Earth Science 105. I might have something to say about that.
I'm not. Oh wait, I'm in anthropology, human origins. Maybe
that could have no relevance.
No, that could be to Earth Science. I study fossils.
That is partially relevant.
Yeah.
The point is, we could have a very multifaceted conversation, and that's what makes us great interviewers.
Yeah, and that's why
Alyssa Liu. That's why you should.
And that's why Alyssa Liu. This has been our long-winded pitch for you to come on the show. You can just replace Caden at this point. Also,
get him out of here.
Permanent position.
We're offering a permanent position.
This is a limited time offer. Gold Olympic medalist Alyssa
Liu.
We have a busy schedule, We're really expecting an answer here soon.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a spot many vie for. Some might say it's Olympic.
Yeah. Wait for our annual jousting tournament. Yeah. All right. Well, is there any more Olympic news that you wish to cover, Matthew?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I know anything.
Okay.
Oh wait. Hold on. I saw something. We had a speed skater guy who's really good. He won like 2 golds in one Olympics in the Winter Olympics, which is big.
Mhm.
Or he might have been 3. I don't know.
Who won the toboggan race?
I don't know what the fuck that is, bro.
Who won the
fuck is
toboggan race?
That's what you're locked in on. Who
won the-
toboggan?
who
I
won
can
the
look it up.
toboggan
You want to
race?
Google
What
it
is
for
the
you?
toboggan
Who
race,
won
bro?
the toboggan?
It's like the isn't it like the sledding basically?
I don't think
John
toboggan is
Maxey
a.
and his
Yeah,
team ski
okay.
race.
Tobogganing as a modern Olympic sport is represented by 3 distinct high-speed sliding disciplines. Oh, those are just the disciplines. Who are the winners?
Oh, it's
I
so it's like bobsled, luge, and skeleton.
Johannes Lochner from Italy. Okay, so
Oh.
not an American.
We don't care, bro. Get out of here.
For a second, I was like, "Is tobogganing a thing? Am I making this up?"
Actually, wait, is that the one that the Olympic that the men's American team like fell out of the toboggan and completely fucked up the race?
bobsled. So
That was
toboggan-
bobsled. Okay.
So
okay.
There's
toboggan is like an encompassing thing from what I understand. So toboggan is like bobsled is under toboggan,
Mhm.
luge is under toboggan, and
Oh.
skeleton is under toboggan, but they're separate events, right?
I
But they're
see.
under that like category.
But Noah, you should check out the clip of the men's American bobsled team. They fell
and it's
out
really
of the
dangerous,
bobsled.
actually.
They completely fucked it up and fell out of it.
Like driving that by yourself is really dangerous because you only control the steering but not the brake. So you had to inch yourself backwards so he could grab the brake while looking away.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't have to look at that right now. But,
falling
any-
off.
Anyway,
Okay, I'll look at
I
that
think that
later.
was the American team, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Michaela Schifrin also got a goal. She does grand slalom, I think. I don't know. She does the ski fast thing. Okay, folks.
The ski fast.
This is top tier analysis you only get here on the
Yeah,
Junkyard.
yeah,
okay, she does the
yeah.
ski fast of it.
She does.
Oh,
she
wow.
skis fast. Noah's watching the clip right now.
I haven't watched it, but I saw what it said. Wait,
I think
Colin-
it was.
my clips.
It was the
Wait,
American.
no, this is
right?
not what I clicked on. This is Colin Jost riding a bobsled. This is not what I wanted to watch.
Okay.
It's-
well,
It had said in the description that it was 3 of the bobsledders failed to get on the bobsled in time, so just one of their
Yeah.
teammates was going
yes,
down.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty insane. It's pretty bad.
Well, I'll
You
try
should
and-
check it out too.
I'll try and view that later. That's very
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. yeah.
Sounds horrible.
Um.
All right. Any more
well,
Olympic
yeah,
news
do
for
it.
you, Matthew?
I have nothing. I personally, I know you asked Matthew, but I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I also.
Normally I'm not.
Except for
into
Go
that all-
America.
Yeah, Go America. This is the most I think I've ever
I
paid attention to the
remember-
Olympics.
I
so-
remember there was a women's freestyle skiing.
Dude, he's
there's multiple
locked.
there's multiple
He's
disciplines,
He's
but I
locked.
remember watching it, and it was actually like one of the first golds we won, and it was her last name I think is Breezy. It's like
Breezy.
yeah,
It seems
middle initials like a J or something.
Jay Breezy.
Breezy Johnson.
Yeah, Breezy Johnson. That's
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and she
Wrong
was-
order, but it's okay.
Yeah,
downhill.
she was pretty good.
She was downhill skiing.
Downhill skiing.
Where was
not
the Winter
freestyle.
Olympics this year?
Milan.
Milan.
Wait, has anyone won it yet, or is it still going?
It's still going. Norway's gonna win.
Okay.
Like they.
But
do.
we're in second. We're in second right now, I guess.
Are we?
That's pretty cool.
fair.
Yeah, we're in second.
I
it looks
guess
like.
by the time this goes out, will it be over or is it still? I
Oh,
know how long the
yeah.
Olympics
Will it?
is.
Probably, right? Or it's been going on for like a month already, right?
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It's probably gonna be done by the time this episode comes out, but it would be very recent. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. So currently it's Norway and then U.S. and I think it was.
Oh, curling. Hold on, curling.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
I
been getting a
I
little invested
heard
in the curling.
I heard there was a scandal with
Been getting a
curling.
little invested in the curling.
Maybe Matthew can explain it because I heard some crazy shit
Okay.
happened.
So mixed curling occurred at the start of the tournament. This is a little different. Mixed curling occurred at the start of the event. There was no drama, and the Americans, we made it all the way to the finals, but we got second place. That's all right, though. You
So
know,
it
that's
goes,
like the
you
first
know,
time
it
we ever
happens.
like won a medal in mixed curling, I believe. So it's massive for the program.
Yeah, that's. I mean, silver in the world is still fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's like an awesome
Stiffest
clip
competition,
of one of the American Olympians, and then one of the reporters asks like, "Oh, you got silver in something. Like, are you disappointed that that's just a gold loss?" And she's like, "Bro, like I got a silver at
not
the
an
Olympics.
American.
Like calm down, bro." Anyway, continue.
Not an
Matthew.
American Olympian. It's all right.
Is that not an American? I thought that was an American who said that.
She's American. She's just not she's not representing America in the Olympics. She's representing China.
I see.
Oh,
that was just a clarification for Will. But I agree with the whole idea that second place is pretty good. I'm just saying.
Second place,
first loser.
Medaling is fucking sick. Shut up.
You know,
Shut
in America we like winning, but second place is pretty good too. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Continue with your curling thing.
Then we get to, you know, and curling's like on all the time. So I'm just investing in this it's basically darts, but you're sliding and you're curling that stone.
The brushes.
And you got the brush, and it's way bigger than darts, but it's kind of like that same type.
I've seen people do it with shopping carts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do in America. That's how we do the Olympics. We take shopping carts in a Walmart parking lot.
We're going.
And we're going all the way, baby.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, then we get to the men's event. Now, the men's, there's a little bit of drama. There's the Swedish curling team, and they're playing the Canadian curling team. By the way, by this time, Canada is about to play America in the women's ice hockey final. So there's a little bit of ramping of tension.
Yeah.
And the Swedish curling guy, and it's an honor sport, so it's like tennis. So if you think you're being cheated, you have to ask the guy first and be like, "Hey, come on, let's call fair game here. Let's be honorable here before I have to ask a judge to come over here." And so this guy basically, it's a Swedish guy, basically goes, "I'll talk to you after the game, but we're seeing some things that, you know, maybe aren't the best." And the Canadian guy goes like, "Who?" Like questioning, like, "Who do you think?" And the Swedish guy goes, "Well, you." And it's like the guy who asked who, he's like, "You in particular." He's like, "Well, fuck you, man." And he gets like really like pressed about it. And he screams like, "Fuck you," verbally. Low key, I would probably do the same thing if someone was questioning me.
You can't be doing that.
But low key, the guy is in the wrong. The guy is in the wrong. So like you can't really say fuck you if you're in the wrong, right? Now, I don't know if like it's hard to tell if like he knew for sure. But the guy, it appears to be a part of his style, because even after he was called out for doing it, he still did it. So it might just be so ingrained in him, and he's never been called out on it before that. You know, he just can't stop it, stop doing it. But to say the least, I was rooting for Great Britain in the final. Now I had to turn it off before I had to hate watch Man City versus. Who did they play midweek or at the weekend? Sorry.
I've been ingesting all of this kinds of media through other things. Like I've been watching Ted Lasso, so I've been ingesting soccer.
Bro's getting it. He's figuring it out.
So Canada did win gold. The cheaters won gold, technically.
Wow. You know what I think of every time I think of curling? Like the sport curling. I think of that scene in Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked, where in the beginning, before they get shipwrecked, they do curling.
I do remember that. Not my first thought, but that is a valid thing to think about.
They do some curling. Yeah.
It is kind of crazy though. I know it's an honor sport, but you'd think at the Olympics they're like aware of that. Like I don't know. I guess that's just how the sport works, but
yeah,
aware of what
I think it's kind of dumb
like
too,
having people like watching for cheating, because that's like the most important thing.
Because in tennis is technically an honor sport, but at the pro level you have line judges and you have umpires, and so
which like I just think if you're at the Olympics,
that makes sense. You know what I mean?
You should have that. Yeah.
And they make the calls. You don't make the calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that checks up. Although then again, then you get into the thing as a football enjoyer where I just start screaming at the refs when my favorite receiver gets absolutely bodied and he can't catch the ball, but no
Yeah.
flag is thrown.
That happened when I watched the Syracuse UNC game yesterday. And
Is that a
refs are always
basketball
calling some bad.
Yeah,
some
wait, what?
f-
Oh,
yeah, Syracuse in
It's like-
basketball.
it's like
In
football's not
basketball.
on right now,
No,
bro.
in
Dude,
basketball.
Northwestern has had some fuck ass refs lately. I'm not gonna say any more than that, but
It is probably just because Syracuse just kind of sucks right now anyway, but the refs also
Yeah,
have been giving us dirty.
dude, I
so.
still remember when I saw the score. I'm sure you're sick of hearing this at this point, but the Notre Dame score, like, good lord.
40-6 or 70-6 or whatever it was.
I think it was I think it was bad.
For basketball or for football?
Football.
Yeah,
It was bad. It was really bad.
yeah, no. We just lost to Duke pretty bad in basketball. Oh yeah, 70-7. Dude, they should just cut the game at that point, dog.
Yeah,
by the time they got to by the
Yeah.
the second quarter, bro, they should have cut. By the time they got to the
yeah,
half, bro,
that's-
cut that
yeah,
game
that's-
short.
That's real tough.
Refund everybody's tickets at that point.
Yeah, can you honorfully like concede the match? Like, be
Yeah,
like,
honestly, Syracuse should just like surrendered at that point.
Yeah,
It would've been less would've been
put up
less
the white
embarrassing,
flag.
honestly.
Put up the white
No,
flag.
no, you have to do
Yeah.
it like traditional, like generals did it. So you have to like the head coach has to go over with his sword, hand the sword by the hilt.
That's
It's
fine.
okay. We
Announce
like
defeat.
we like Fran. We like Fran around here, the coach. It's just losing Kyle, I guess, was more than we expected. Apparently,
Dude, I
and
don't think-
lots of
I
other
don't think-
problems.
I don't
Lots
think
of
even
other
think
problems.
Kyle is in the NFL anymore.
No, so he got kicked off of the Eagles, but now he's on a different team. He got
Is
drafted
he-
onto a
He's a
different
free
team.
agent.
Well, he did not get drafted, but did
Or not
he-
drafted, but sorry, but like he's on.
Is he in
some
the
other team.
NFL or is he in like the?
I think he's
the
Kyle
UFL?
McCord football team. He's
I think we should-
it says what he's with the Eagles right now, but I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true. Okay, whatever.
Packers. He's with the
Um,
Packers right now.
What the fuck?
He signed a reserve future contract with the Packers.
A
Okay,
reserve
that's-
future contract.
That's I don't even know what that means, but okay.
So in the
Um,
future, when they need
he's
a
on-
reserve, the contract will activate. in
I
which
guess
will
he
play.
signed this like pretty much exactly a month ago.
Okay. Very odd.
So I guess we'll see what happens. with
Anyway,
that.
yeah, I think we should move on from sports talk, but I didn't think
Yes.
that point would take 22 minutes. So good point.
Oh,
Matthew.
oh,
That's
sorry,
good.
sorry. We have one more thing to talk about on the sports topic. We were all right with our prediction of who would win the Super Bowl, and it wasn't even.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
yes,
I forgot
yes.
about that. Yes.
I
yeah.
felt so vindicated watching that game. I don't think much needs to be said
Oh,
about that because
honestly, another bad Super Bowl. Honestly, is that crazy? Is that crazy to say? Another not
mean, I
interesting,
was-
kind of
I
boring
was-
Super Bowl.
I was hate watching, hoping that Drake May would lose. I don't
Yeah.
actually. I like Drake May. It wasn't Drake May. I was just
So
hoping the
many
Patriots
odd
would lose,
ads as
so.
well.
Yeah, the Svedka,
The
AI
Svedka?
Slav ad fucking pissed me off.
So many ads made with AI, and then ads like advertising AI.
Yeah,
You know
I
what's
can't buy
the-
Svedka anyway, but
You know
I
what's
will
funny
never
about that
buy
ad,
Svedka
too?
now.
You know what's funny about that ad too? Is it advertises you mixing vodka. You're not supposed to mix vodka. The whole point is that you drink it by
yes.
itself. Like it's
Mhm.
supposed to be like the quintessential. If you're
Well,
trying to get
People
drunk
put vodka in
efficiently,
mixed drinks though.
you're not supposed to though. So
But there's
the
like
guy-
plenty of famous drinks that have vodka in
but
it,
the-
like vodka Red Bull.
So the
just to
guy
name
who
one.
invented vodka,
Vodka Red Bull
originally
is-
The one guy who invented vodka.
it was one guy who invented vodka.
I'm sure it was
It was the-
distilled at many different times in history by different people.
It was the same. It was the same guy. Is the same guy who made the periodic table as we know it today. He's a Russian guy, Russian scientist.
Vodka
and-
has no single inventor. It's the first thing that comes up.
Nah,
It's
bro,
the first
nah.
thing I find when I look it up is that there is no distinct
No,
inventor.
bro.
Poland, as a country, was believed to be the first one to successfully distill it. But that's
Okay.
it.
I think going down the
Regardless,
rabbit hole of
regardless,
Svedka is-
regardless,
yeah, is
regardless,
not-
regardless.
not
The
the
halftime show was good. That was pretty much like the only part I kind of
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Yeah, we're Bad Bunny enjoyers in this.
Yeah,
bar.
the message was lovely.
Yep. And if you're watching this and are upset that something was in Spanish,
Get
Stay
over it.
mad?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
You
I
get
do not.
over
I
it, I
don't.
guess.
I don't feel bad at
know.
all.
I really hope the
Uh,
Kid Rock show was better for you.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
that-
yeah. You
yeah,
had
yeah.
to. You had
Yeah,
to
you
think.
had
The
to,
adults.
yeah.
The adults were busy. You can run along.
Go to the kids' table.
I think that's the most political we'll ever get.
I really hope you enjoyed the kids' table.
Yeah.
This actually kind of perfectly segues into the next point because the Super Bowl actually had a
Oh yeah, that's true.
teaser
Actually, yeah. Take us
for
away.
our next point. If you don't mind me
No, I
taking
think
this
I
away,
think
Matthew.
we're almost half an hour in. I think keep going.
So it's not like we haven't gotten a lot of distinct. I mean, we kind of have at this point, I guess, because the trailer just dropped. But the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They had the actual first teaser, which featured them like riding in a carriage drawn by Tauntauns, which was kind of cute at the Super Bowl or whatever. And then we just got a trailer like 3 days ago, I think, 3 days ago. That gave us like an actual insight into the movie itself. And I don't know, I didn't necessarily want to talk specifically about. We'll talk mostly about the movie, but I kind of want to talk about just Star Wars as a direction it's heading in currently.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's like I've been watching stuff recently. I keep finding myself I get timed out of Instagram on my phone.
Mhm.
And so then I'm like, well, I still want to scroll something because I'm a Gen Z, you know, my brain is cooked.
Mhm.
So I keep winding up on Reddit, which is really not the place to be, but that's where I keep winding up. And
Okay.
and I keep being on like r/Star Wars or r/Clone Wars and stuff. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like Star Wars. Oh, and also most obviously, I've been rewatching the movies recently with my friends. I have a bunch of friends who've never seen Star Wars before, so we've been watching it. So yeah, I'm down. I guess that was all a long-winded way of me saying I'm down for this conversation.
Yeah, no.
Kind of an unnecessary way of saying that, I guess.
No, I understand. I've also been wanting to rewatch Star Wars recently. One of my roommate hasn't really seen any of them, and I want
There's
to
been so
show
much
him
good
them.
stuff coming
But-
out that I
but the-
just haven't
Yeah.
thought about Star Wars.
And so that's kind of like
Yeah.
what the focal
Yeah.
point of this is going to, because there were some interesting things that the Mandalorian movie was revealing. Like it showed that if either of you, I'm sure Will is, but Matthew, the character Embo is a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
From the Clone
I'm
Wars, yeah.
I'm sure I'll
Turtle
recognize
guy,
him.
Turtle-
I'll
Turtle
recognize
bounty
him if I
hunter.
see him.
He's not really
I
as
think I got the
typical.
hat. Yeah, guy
Yeah,
does
yeah,
that.
yeah. He's in the movie. He's gonna be in the
Oh,
movie.
cool.
Obviously Rhoda the Hutt, Jabba's son that was in the 2008 Clone Wars movie is gonna be in it. There's gonna be like some kind of gladiator event, I think.
My problem,
Various things.
and maybe this suffices a large, or not suffices. That's not the right word, but maybe this is a big part of what you're kind of getting at. Is that I remember I saw the was it the teaser during the Super Bowl or was it the actual
Mhm.
trailer?
It was a teaser. It was just a
'cause
teaser with the
I don't think I've
Tauntauns.
watched. Yeah, I don't think I've watched the actual trailer.
Mhm.
But I remember watching it and I was like, "Is this the first Star Wars movie that I don't care about seeing in theaters?"
Mhm.
And I was really sad when that was my first thought.
This is the first Star
it's
Wars
been
movie to
like
come
that
out
for
in
me for a
7
while.
years. By the way, if that's
Mhm.
if that's not like shocking to you in any way,
I
that
also,
this is
I
the
wanna
first
put-
movie
Is it
in
really
7
years?
Rise of Skywalker was
7 years ago?
2019. Was 2019.
I want to talk about something real quick. I think appointing Dave Filoni as your creative head, or
Yeah, 2019.
is he the head director now of all Lucasfilm movies?
Yeah, he's just top dog. He's CEO, I think is what they call. I don't know what the term-
Respectfully,
whatever,
I think
whatever Kathleen Kennedy was, I believe it's CEO.
I think he's. I think it's great they put a fan in that role. He seems like he genuinely likes the content, but and I do think he'll be a step up from Kathleen Kennedy. But my problem with it is that he does only he's really only done TV shows. So I don't. I wish he.
I mean,
I wish
honestly,
there was
that's
more,
not like
I
an
wish there was
invalid
more-
complaint.
I wish there was more like maybe it's like they don't need to prove anything, but I wish they would come out and say like something like we have somebody else in a high position as well who is an expert in making great movies, to some degree. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like.
think I don't know. So something that I was thinking about when I was rewatching, I rewatched The Empire Strikes Back like Friday night, and we're recording this on a Sunday.
Mhm.
And I remember watching it. I like that movie. Like, do not misunderstand anything I'm saying. I really like that movie. I think it's a great Star Wars. I mean, everyone thinks that it's a great Star Wars movie. But watching it, I do remember feeling like, wow, like there's kind of a lot more like random shit that happens in this movie than I remember it when I like think about it. And I don't mean that in the way of like things don't make sense. That's not exactly what I'm saying. But when you're watching it, like I'm trying to put myself in the mind of like not knowing that's how the movie's gonna go and like thinking about, how I would react like if it came out and I was watching it. And I'm like, so much of that movie is really like kind of odd. Like, oh, he's at Dagobah, and there's this like weird little puppet man talking to him, and like, oh, they're in the mouth of a like space worm. Like, it's like kind of random and zany. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But what it made me realize is that I feel like no new Star Wars media takes those weird little jumps and little risks in like just doing weird things that movie did. Like Han getting encased in carbonite. I was watching it and I'm like, would something like this ever happen
I
these
think
days?
I think they do. They just don't do it in like the same like type of way. And I
Yeah,
think it throws the
I kind
audience
of agree.
off. I feel like the older, like what you're talking about, I feel like it's more mature in a way. And it's also like it feels more horror-esque in some ways. Like if you think about these concepts, like you're entrapped in a giant space worm in
I
space.
mean,
Like
it's not
your
really.
trip is,
I don't really think
your
it's like
ship is.
played for horror, but like
Yeah, I
that's a.
know, I know what you're saying, but it can be scary. That's more what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
like the case and carbonite thing, or I forget what was the other example we used.
I think what the okay, I think I know I have an idea of what the problem is. And I think what it's about is that Star Wars itself has its own inspirations. And that is what makes Star Wars, like the original Star Wars. Like those are all based off of like TV serials from 40 years before they
Yeah,
came
Flash
out.
Gordon, shit like that.
Flash Gordon, all these like kind of pulp. It's very pulpy.
Yeah,
It's a very
yeah,
pulp kind of story, and it got the privilege to be made into a movie, which was very, I think, rare for the kind of thing that Star Wars was. I mean, no one on set thought it would succeed because no one had any expectations for that kind of thing. Because it's not like pulp was never a very particularly, popular genre for storytelling. And I think what's happened is that since George Lucas was removed from that, and not that anyone couldn't do what George Lucas does, but then it's become that everything following is that the source of inspiration for the new Star Wars isn't what made Star Wars Star Wars. It's just what they think Star Wars is based on what they've seen. Does that make sense? Like, like the
yeah. I can see
inspiration for
that.
new Star Wars stuff is just Star Wars instead of the things that inspired Star Wars in the first place, which
I
feels
think
more Star Wars than just
another thing
rehashing.
I think
If that
people
makes
don't
sense.
understand
I think that makes sense.
is when you're writing these sci-fi universes, you're going to have misses sometimes. Um,
Yeah,
it's just Disney's such a massive entity that they can operate on such a large scale. And like, for example, I'm gonna pull it to something I know. Warhammer Fantasy, 80%, 95% of the lore is really good. There's some end times, lore books that aren't written the best. But like, let's say, for example, Warhammer was as big as Star Wars and they could just produce a movie. Well, people would think those movies are just utter dog shit, and I would agree. But like, obviously, you're not always gonna make the best things. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but I think like corresponding with that, I think there's a fear, there's a want, and I'm not necessarily like a Disney hater, even like I'm not trying to say that, but I think that there is an approach these days where like everything wants to be played very safely, so like nothing feels that interesting anymore. I feel like,
Well, it's not even as if things need like I don't know, like the idea
I
that
can't
just
wait for the
sometimes things
remakes.
don't work is it removes like agency from them, because I feel like they could have made things that worked. And unfortunately, Star Wars just, and there's things that have come out from
I
Star
feel like
Wars
they
that are
did
kind of
though.
like, oh, like that was good, you know what I mean? Like people liked Andor,
Yeah.
even though I have not seen it still, because
You
I don't know.
see,
I couldn't personally find myself
I
getting
didn't like
into it,
Andor personally,
but I've
and
seen things and I heard it's good. Um,
but that's what I'm saying is like people did perceive. I feel like Star Wars is so weird because I think Andor is bad. Like I didn't like it at all. I thought three out of the 8 episodes were good. So to me, that's not a good show.
I don't know.
If 5 of your episodes aren't that great.
I think it's just the franchise effect. I don't know if
And
Star Wars was the kind of thing that was meant to have spawn something like this. Because I don't know. I feel
yeah,
like Star Wars is inherently kind of because of, it was inspired by the hero's journey. It's a very like centralized concept. It's very it would make sense for it to be locked into its mode almost, for it to
I
be
think
like a series of movies. Like if the sequel trilogy had worked out either how it was supposed to or how it should have, I think the 9 movies and supplementary stuff like Clone Wars maybe, like I don't know, like, but I feel like it could, but those also feed into the main narrative
Rebels
of
was good
Star
though.
Wars,
Yeah.
but they also like they work to supplement what is already there. So I just don't know if Star Wars was ever really meant
I
to
also
do
don't think
something like this.
they didn't have like they didn't have a set strategy, a set plan going into making the failures that they did. And I think like Mandalorian season 3 was utter garbage. Boba Fett season 1 was trash. Andor was relatively well received. Mandalorian season 1 was relatively well received. Um Rebels, I thought Rebels was good when I was a kid. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I couldn't tell you, but I
I think
liked
Rebels is
Rebels
good
when it came
too.
out.
More my point is that like I think the thing I'm feeling is that Star Wars feels aimless
I think
as it currently appears in the media.
I think that there's the reason for that, and you've already kind of said this, but I'm maybe putting it into some like very solid, delineable things. Is that the things that people attach themselves to in Star Wars, and at least films wise, are the original trilogy and the prequels. Most people can generally get behind them, and the sequels where they have the problem. And I think that's because all 6 of those movies are telling the same story. Like fundamentally, they're all attached. They're telling the same story. So the problem is Star Wars then needed to decide, okay, do we find a way to make this about the same story? Or do we just make a new story that just attaches onwards? And that's why like Legends, if you used to read any Legends, they chose make a new story and attach it onto the ladder. And whether or not you like Legends isn't really the point. The point is that's what they did, and there was some success to that.
I thought there was really cool
And
concepts.
yeah, I like a lot of what Legends did. I don't think all of it is great, but like it certainly is cool. And so the movies though tried to do both. They tried to have a new story with Snoke and that stuff. And I don't know if it's because they thought people didn't like it, which I mean is a fair thing to think because most people actually didn't seem to be into it, or not most, I should say, but there was a vocal minority who didn't like that. And so then they were like, actually, like he is back, like it is connected. And so the things that does is it pisses off both sides because you can't do both. It's either connected to the first 6 movies and it's telling the same story, or it's not. And the way they tried to make it both is deeply unsatisfying either way, to the point that now everyone's like, okay, well, I don't care anymore, because like if they're just going to try and connect everything, that's not interesting, but they're also not willing to actually tell a new story.
Yeah, I think it's also a problem of a naming thing, but I understand why they're naming it like that. I feel like you have Star Wars, movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what they should have done is, okay, that's done. Okay, we're gonna have movies in the same universe. We can have another trilogy in the same universe that's all connected.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you name it that, it feels like it kind of has to be attached to that story in some way.
Well, and that's why calling it like the Skywalker saga, like you're making
Yeah.
it seem like it's all one big story. And like fundamentally, as Noah was talking about, there's just only so much that can be done with that story. Like the Emperor died, and then they brought him back. He's dead again. Like you can't bring him back a third time.
And I think
Like,
that's also.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
Okay. What I liked about the first and the second trilogy is, you have like you have the chosen one, then he's not the chosen one, but then he's actually the chosen one.
He actually was all along. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, now you can't do another fake out and be like,
Well,
well, and I think this also comes from the broadening of the scope that happens with this kind of thing, because we've had the overarching narrative. It's Star Wars. It is this space opera. It's Anakin. It's Luke. It's Darth Vader. It's Obi-Wan. It's all these people. Like Star Wars is those things. And then over time, as it finally concluded, it's now just been kind of like opening up, and it doesn't
now
know
there's a whole universe.
it doesn't like know how to open up and then close, and it needs to close back down. I think Star Wars
for the
can't survive
movies.
as yes, and shows is a different sphere, but Star Wars has always been a movies thing
yeah.
in
Well, I think
respect
that's
to
why.
itself.
I think that's why that there's things like the
Not
Clone
always,
Wars
obviously,
and
anymore,
things
but,
like Andor and things like Bad Batch that and I'm sure there's Rebels, like whatever you want to think of, that are examples of like filling in the world, filling stuff in. And I fucking love Clone Wars. Like like the Clone Wars show is like one of my favorite Star Wars things. Or even like the Jedi games, like Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, like they're just filling in the world, and that's wonderful. I think that I struggle if the movies are meant to be that. A movie just needs to feel more purposeful. That's just like how the medium works. Like a TV show is easier to just like be telling stories, and a video game is even easier because like the investment just comes naturally from being the one doing the things. So that's why like Cal Kestis' story can be fairly small in scope because you're playing as Cal Kestis.
I agree. I think that's
Yeah.
also why things like Solo worked, and for some people, Solo worked in like Rogue, or Solo didn't work and Rogue One did.
Yeah.
For some
Yeah,
people.
because
hold on, pause on that. I was one of those people.
No,
I'm
I
not
understand. I am
I'm
too.
not the biggest fan of Solo, but I did really like Rogue One, and I know
I like
That's not what I thought you were gonna
that
say.
goes against some of what I've said. Like,
I like
I
both,
just like
to
the
be
same
honest.
story retold again, but I genuinely did think it was a good movie.
Well, because my frustration, a lot of it is not that we can't have these stories filling in the void, but it just needs to be clear what they're trying to do. And so my problem with something like The Mandalorian, not only do I just not like it from a lot of like how they've chosen to tell a story standpoints, which we can get into that if we really want to, but I don't like the way that with the Baby Yoda stuff and with the way he's interacting with Luke a lot, especially like in the Book of Boba Fett, it makes me frustrated where I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, is this a side story about the Mandalorian and his little Baby Yoda friend, which is cool? Or is this like some really important thing fulfilling the Skywalker saga? Like, it can't be both.
Yeah, like what is Grogu's ultimate purpose as a character here? Like, it just feels like they're buying time until they can figure out what else they really want to do.
They lost the plot on the writing, in my opinion, because you can have both. You can have it be important and not be connected to the main
but they need to make that decision.
Exactly. You can be it can be important in terms of Mandalorian history because everybody likes that. You know what I mean? Like that's cool, but they're like hip hopping around. So it's not like a congruent story.
Yeah. And so that's really like, and I think that to bring it back to Mandalorian and Grogu, which I know we kind of spun off a lot, but I think that's why to me, I'm just not interested in seeing it because I don't understand. And like, I know that it's kind of lame to be like judging something like this before seeing something, but my problem with Star Wars right now is I don't understand what they're doing. I don't get the direction. And it's kind of like with Marvel movies lately with like the Kang Dynasty falling apart. I'm like, I see no reason to be invested in this. I can't tell where this is going. And I'm not that interested in where it's going.
And like, that's the importance of overarching narratives. I mean, people like to, maybe diss on it, and they may have valid reasons for that. But I mean, I think working towards something is important for, and you can have supplementary things that fill in the gaps, but it has to be concurrent, I think. It can't just be like we have like a period of like nebulous, intense, and like what is Star Wars now? What are we doing? We haven't had a movie in 7 years, and we're gonna
I
make
can't believe
basically
I was
just,
13 with the
and
last
we're just
movie.
gonna
That's fucking
make
crazy.
Mandalorian season 4, basically,
As a
but
movie,
it's a movie.
though? Yeah.
And it's gonna be like just some random zany adventure, which I don't necessarily mind, but it just feels, where
It's
are
not
we?
the monument. It's not the monumental thing that the first Star Wars movie in 7 years should be.
I think
They should be setting up the future. Like they should be setting something to look forward to.
Because if you really want Star Wars to be this thing, you can't be just like, it can't just be like kind of fettering off like this, how it has been.
I think a really cool story they could tell, and it honestly, we completely skipped over Ahsoka too, but
I didn't even watch that happen.
I
I
just
didn't even
remember
watch
that
it.
show
Yeah.
existed, bro. And at first, that show was good, and then again, it wasn't good. So
I didn't give it a watch. It didn't look very appealing to me.
First 4 episodes were good. Latter 4 weren't that great, in my opinion.
The hard thing for me is that I love the character of Thrawn. Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and yet I still don't give a fuck, and I'm not gonna watch Ahsoka.
They had these weird like wizards and witches, and they didn't really explain it, so you didn't really know what was going on. Like, it wasn't like, to me as the viewer, as a casual viewer who just wanted to sit down and watch it and consume the media, it wasn't really clicking to me.
I think a lot of it is just from a blatant misunderstanding of Star Wars on a lot of people's ends creatively, and that's its own issue, obviously. And maybe Filoni
I feel like we need a whole video just
probably.
I'm sure we could do one.
We could probably do a whole video, but maybe Filoni fixes this issue. I mean, people have had problems with Kennedy for as long as she's been,
around
the CEO, which, for one reason or another could be valid or not. But Filoni, I don't know. He's also been responsible for a lot of the things that haven't worked for Star Wars as much as he has for the things that have worked for Star Wars.
Exactly. And I think, honestly, like, if it was my decision, if I could make the next big decision, you're getting a trilogy of movies that has an overarching story that is predetermined. I think that should be a fucking
it shouldn't even be an ask.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be asked.
Republic would be really cool to have a setting in.
Well, maybe, but
you would have Jedis, you would have Sith, like you.
But I
know generally.
Yeah. But what I think I would do is we're setting it after the Skywalker saga. Whatever you think of the Rise of Skywalker, you can't just like uncanon a movie. It happened. It happened in universe.
But what if you
redacted?
But we're not going to. And I think you've got to start a new story that it can use the characters of the previous movies. I'm happy to have Rey show back up and Finn show back up. I like those characters. I think they're fine. But it needs to be something new. And so in Legends, like something like to me, this is like, oh, Yu Zhong Vong. Like, that's a crazy new thing of this extra galactic invasion. I'm not saying they should do that because I know a lot of people don't like Yu Zhong Vong as well. But like, I think they should be doing something where there's a new threat and these characters are doing new things.
Dude, you know what would be cool? You remember the thing with Luke had it? I forget Luke's wife's name. She gets like
Padme.
You remember like the
whole Luke's wife's name, Mara Jade.
Yeah, but wasn't there like there was like a really like creepy like thing going on where like she got consumed or something, and then Luke's son had to go kill the like
I don't know.
There's like Sheloth or something.
Oh, I feel like I just realized that the point I made earlier about Legends being happy to do things disconnected is really funny when you think about something like the Dark Empire, where like Palpatine comes back as a clone.
Yeah, I saw something. Yeah,
I just thought about that. I'm like, well, that kind of disrupts what I was saying, but so I'm acknowledging that.
But not everything about Legends. Well, not everything about Legends. It's Abeloth, by the way, is what you're thinking of.
Abeloth, yes.
Yeah,
Isn't that like it's like the black hole at the center of the
yeah,
galaxy or
and
some shit like that? Yeah.
It's
but
like
it's
some
like
woman with
a
like,
woman though,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's really like creepy.
the bringer
And
of
I don't know if
chaos.
people, and I honestly don't think people would like it.
No, I
But
don't think that's the play.
it's cool.
But something
It's
like,
cool.
well, and I think there's a similar thing where there's like what is it? It's like the Phantom Fleet or something like that in Legends, where there's like this fleet that was hiding out like in a sun or in a black hole or like something like that. And then they
Yeah.
like come out and attack the galaxy, and like something like that is cool for like what we're looking for, because it's a new threat. It can explain why it hasn't come up before, and like it allows the characters to keep developing, allows us to keep exploring the world, because like really that's some of the most fun stuff about the first 6 Star Wars movies is the
Mhm.
exploration going on, and some of the best parts of the sequel trilogy are that too. Like I think they need to lean into the fact. I think people need to get over taking Star Wars so seriously, which I know is funny coming from me, someone who like likes like more serious, darker media a lot of the time. That's typically more what I'm attracted to. But to Noah's point, like if you watch the original trilogy, it's like silly sometimes and kind of ridiculous. And you're like, oh, Han just got fucking frozen into carbonite. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy that they did that.
It was even beyond that. Like Return of the Jedi's entire first 30 minutes literally makes completely no sense if you even dissect its plan.
Yeah.
Step to step.
Yeah.
And just general thing, I mean, like, he sleeps inside of a dead animal. He
Yeah, to survive. Yeah.
fights
yeah.
a Yeti, you know, like,
That's the
he
thing
like
about
has.
that movie. I watched the start and I'm like, this is like so unconsequential, and yet he did it anyway, and like, and that's fine.
mean,
it's silly.
It's just because that's a world. That is a world.
Yeah, exactly,
Things just happen sometimes. Like things like do just happen, but they have effects that matter. That's the thing. Is that it doesn't have to be necessarily random things happening. It's things that just happen and have effects that matter, and they do mean things.
Yeah.
And they can feed into the overall thing, or they don't have to. And I think to Will's point, it's like I think he's right that Star Wars can't ground itself in what it used to be and then try and also expand itself. It needs to pick a lane.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And I really don't think it would be beneficial for them to stay grounded even. I think it would be far more beneficial for them to move on with themselves. But they just refuse to make that step because I think they think that making a new trilogy and doing all these new steps would finally be the severing of the ties.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't even really have to be. It doesn't have to be the severing of the ties.
But also, maybe this is a hot take, but like the annoying fucking people who are gonna be mad about that, let Star Wars be for a new group of people, bro. Like you're like 60. Let's move on with our lives. Let's keep the franchise moving. Like I'm sorry. Maybe I'm obtuse for thinking that. But like Star Wars isn't going to be just the original trilogy forever. And I would rather that they actually are just okay with that and just hit the ground running and approach something new with like a vigor to make something new and interesting.
I agree with your statement, but I also disagree with it because I know a lot of people didn't like the new trilogy because they felt the writing was poor, not because they inherently were like, oh, I don't like this because it's not like the old trilogy.
That's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like,
I know what you're.
I do think that that's not necessarily true, though. I think they did have problems with, like,
with what,
like, its ancestry, so to speak. Like, whether it's like reliant on it or not. Because people were mad about like how they settled each of the original 3 characters' plot lines. People were upset about their lack of unity.
I wasn't the fan of it, you know.
I'm just saying that people were upset about those kinds of things, not just about the poor writing.
No.
Well, that is poor writing, no?
I mean, but it is also caring about, well, whatever. It's.
But I think that I guess what Matthew is saying is that I'm not saying.
I feel like there's a little bit more nuance to their.
I'm not saying.
And I'm not saying like one is right or wrong, but what I am trying to say is that there is nuance.
My point is not that fuck the OT and the prequel trilogy and all of it doesn't matter and we should just go on to everything. I'm fine with respectful writing of old characters that treats them well. That's not what I'm saying. My point is just that like if people are going to be upset that a new trilogy of Star Wars movies isn't about the Skywalkers, then like that's just how it is. Like we can't really tell that story. It's over. It's done. Luke is dead. As far as we know, he doesn't have kids. Leia has Ben. He's dead. Like I'm sorry. The Skywalker story is over. It is. It just is. Like, and you can be annoyed about that. Maybe you would have preferred that it kept being about the same characters, and that's fine. But like, we just need to make peace with that and move on. Like, it's just the truth. And I think that, burying our heads in the sand and like trying to be like, ooh, like Baby Yoda, isn't that cool? Like, I don't know.
And there's also just like, there's nothing wrong with throwing in the towel at this point, just being like, all right, well, at this point, until something changes, like, I'm just gonna enjoy the Star Wars media that I enjoy personally. There's no need to like, rant and rave about what it is and just be constantly frustrated about what it used to be and how it like it doesn't like. Then just watch watch the ones you like.
I mean, exactly, because I know I said that like, oh, I have no interest in watching Ahsoka, but like literally, I'd never spend like any negative energy, or never spend like any of my time outside of the times that we talk about it like in the pod, or it'll come up as a brief conversation like between me and Noah. Like, I hated the Book of Boba, but I'm not like still mad about it. Like, whatever. I didn't like
they
it.
did
I'm
it.
just gonna watch the things I liked. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like Star Wars for me exists in a very strange spot because it's something I grew up really loving, and then it like got weird because Disney got weird with it, obviously. And so it kind of exists in a weird, like, there's two different kinds of Star Wars. There's the Star Wars you like and the Star Wars you don't like, which I feel like, even though that sounds kind of simple, is not necessarily the case for a lot of things. I feel like it's a lot more, maybe,
I feel like with the
not as black and white.
Literally right now, we all have different perspectives in how we would take the role. That's just Star Wars is just so like I feel like it's so different that way, because if I sat down like 3 Lord of the Rings fans and I was like, hey, how are we going to do this? They
would all have the same vision, I think.
A similar idea.
But yeah. I think, again, that's to the fact that, like, as Noah started this conversation saying, the fundamental identity of Star Wars is kind of resolved. Like, that fundamental thing is resolved.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the problem. The problem is that whatever is the next step is legitimately a very large existential question of what is Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what is it without? I mean, and this could be answered, but they haven't. What is Star Wars without the Skywalkers? Like, that has been Star Wars for 50 years.
And honestly, legitimately, I hope I'm wrong, and The Mandalorian and Grogu is really fucking good, and we all go see it, and we love it, and it gets me excited. I actually, like, I know I've sounded very negative this whole conversation, but I really fucking hope that's the case. I'm just currently not that interested, and like, whatever. And if people do like it, then like, cool. If Mandalorian Grogu does have a little bit of a Star Wars resurgence in like how people think about it, awesome. That's great. Maybe it's not for me, but that's great. Like, that's what I want. And even if, and to Noah's credit, I feel like I'm rewording on a lot of what Noah has said talking about this, but like, if The Mandalorian and Grogu doing well and me not loving it means that the third Jedi game comes out faster and is more polished and gets more money behind it, perfect. Like, I will enjoy what I enjoy, and it all, like, in a weird way, it all supports each other.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just the kind of what happens when there's something that was so dependent on its identity becomes decentralized, and it becomes abstracted from itself. I mean, it's literally like Star Wars is going through puberty. It's like Star Wars just moved away from home. Like, Star Wars just moved away from home and now doesn't know what it is anymore, and now it needs to figure itself out.
Another thing, like, it's not the same at all, actually, thinking about it, but it's somewhat similar. Like, there's originally a good series, and then debatable. I wouldn't call it a good series anymore, but
call what a good series?
Game of Thrones. So I was going to compare this to Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones comes out, people like Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon comes out, people don't really like House of the Dragon, which I wasn't the biggest fan. And then Knight of the Seven Kingdoms comes out, and it's really good, and people like it again. So,
well, I think that's also
people
the next
want
point.
to like these things. I feel
exactly.
like.
And the next point, we're definitely not going to get to this, and I'll probably just send this to the next episode because it's something I do want to talk about.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this as well.
Yeah, but that reminds me of Harry Potter, where, like, that's also a really hard franchise to do anything with now, because that fundamental thing, Harry Potter himself, his story is done. Unless they decide to like do horror stuff, but like
and I
his
really,
story's done.
I'm really not a fan of remaking the films yet. Like,
yeah, well, let's save that because I do want to have a detailed conversation about that. But my point is that that's why moving on from that and making new media is hard, because they do something like The Cursed Child, which is terrible, and I think everybody should hate because it's awful, and I fucking hate that. Oh my god, I have so much hatred in my heart for that thing.
I don't remember, what is this?
It's like it's basically fanfic. It's a play
basically.
And like
it's like 20, 30 years or
it's like Harry's son like goes back in time and like fucks shit up, and then Cedric Diggory becomes a Death Eater because that makes any fucking sense, and Voldemort had a kid with Bellatrix Lestrange because that makes any sense, and My Mother is Calling. That's very odd.
Did that happen in the play too?
No, it hold
on. Yeah, essentially it was a play fanfic that got adapted where like Harry Potter's kid gets to put into Slytherin instead of Gryffindor like he wanted, and he goes to like this weird identity thing, I think, and like he like uses the time turner, like Will said, to go and save Cedric Diggory for some reason.
Rowling wrote this?
No, Rowling did not write this. I believe someone else wrote this. But it did get turned into a like Broadway, I think. Oh, it does actually say. Wait, no. Okay, no. Is a stage play written by Jack Thorne, based on an original news story co-conceived by J.K. Rowling and Jack Thorne and John Tiffany.
We don't know what that was. So it's gonna...
Well, I think it's more like the fundamentals of the idea were hers, and then it got like extrapolated by other people.
Yeah, but like, so take that with the end of Game of Thrones, like. The core ideas somewhat were George's, but they weren't the way he wanted them to occur.
I mean, that's how Star Wars is too. I mean, a lot of it is, semblances of George Lucas's ideas that people thought were not good or people thought were good, and it becomes like a strange hodgepodge of things. And that, maybe that could be surmised to lack of creative direction that is like unified.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a series like that, I'd be very dictatorial and
I think a lot of the best things come from people really putting their foot down on their products. I mean, I've watched. This is maybe slightly tangential, but I've watched 2 Stanley Kubrick movies recently, The Shining and Eyes Wide Shut, and I feel like, and I've read a lot about like and those aren't necessarily comparable because they're both like individual stories that don't have the same stakes as like a series does, but they both feel very much in their own depth. They're very like they're movies that feel truthful to what they're meant to be, and I think that comes from what I've heard about Kubrick's writing process or directing process, whether or not you find that ethical, because he was very hard on his actors, and I know a lot of them went through really strange trauma from it, but not that it needs to be that intense, but I think a lot of the problem is that with studio intervention is obvious, and this is kind of how that ties, is that studio intervention is a big problem, I think, for a lot of stories like this that kind of go off the wayside, is interference and not letting the people who are responsible for making it make it.
It's their fault though as well, sadly. But there's also outside pressure, like investors, wanting this process speed up. But you can't turn around and say, "Hey, they're the main problem," when you sold out in a way, and that not only happens at the writers' level, sadly, but this can or cannot be.
My mother wanted a chicken,
like a purposeful thing, purposeful action. Like they didn't want it to end up this way, but it did because they sold the rights away. You know what I mean?
We were kind of talking about intervention, the creative intervention from studio to like director.
Oh.
And I'm saying
directors.
it's not all on the studio, but it's also on other factors.
You know, just like
Yeah.
interference generally upon the creative
the
people.
author in a
Yeah,
sense,
sure.
the
Yeah, yeah.
investors in a sense, the studio in itself, the audience.
Yeah, I think I was making a point when she called. I can.
You
I was
mentioned
talking about
Chris
Harry
Child.
Potter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris
I
Child.
can finish that point if you guys want me to.
Yeah,
or,
go ahead.
Or we can.
Go ahead.
I think so. What I was saying, what I was trying to say as well.
Actually, never mind.
Actually, shut the fuck up.
Actually, never mind.
Was with
This is a podcast where we don't like when you
with the like the Fantastic Beasts movies. I think can have some similar complaints to the things we've been talking about. With like lack of a vision of like where they're going and what they're trying to do, which makes them feel just very muddled. And
It sucks because I kind of like the first one.
The first one's really good.
From what I remember, anyway. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I haven't seen it in a while either, but I remember really liking it.
Is it crazy that I kind of want to make a Power Rangers movie?
They're
no,
they're making one right now. Actually,
I don't think that's crazy at all. But
Dude,
yeah,
everybody's stealing my ideas.
But I guess my point with that is that like Harry Potter is a very similar franchise in that sense, where like the titular story is done, and it's kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? And unfortunately for Harry Potter, I'm not sure there is anywhere to go.
You know what? You don't always need to go somewhere.
That's kind of
what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, like it's over, and like that's just
that was kind of part of the thing I was thinking about Star Wars. Is like, would it have been better if like nothing ever spawned from Star Wars?
I think in my
not nothing necessarily, but you know,
I guess you could say the same about Harry Potter. But like I just read the books, which again, this will come up. I guess this isn't really what I want to talk about anyway next week. But I think there's just something about Harry's story that makes it feel like it wouldn't ever happen again. You know what I mean? Like nothing comparable. And like I guess you could make a Harry Potter story where like another dark wizard like rises up, but like I don't think that would be at all interesting.
Because the problem with those kinds of stories is that like when they're defined by such like a, I don't know, because like how do you do it again without it feeling rehashed? Like how do you capture the Dark Lord of Sidious, of Voldemort, of you know, all these things?
The reason why I'm saying you don't need to is you can have a main character in the same world that doesn't have the same cause to do certain things.
And I think maybe the thing that maybe unites them, because I was thinking that Star Wars and Harry Potter are very different in this regard, but maybe they're actually not. I was thinking like Star Wars is this huge galaxy, and like you can have all these different things going on in the general galaxy. But I guess also like a fair enough point is that Harry Potter really only takes place in England.
Yeah, Harry Potter has like 24 schools, like magical schools or something. Like around the world, and
I mean that is what Fantasy Beasts was doing. It was trying to flesh out American wizardry, and it was just not very good. So
that had its own slew of problems, unfortunately.
Yes.
And that kind of suffers the same fate as the sequel trilogy, weirdly enough.
Yeah, well, I think those movies are just canceled. Like, I don't think they're finishing that saga.
Didn't the third one actually wrap it? Because they were gonna have 5, and I think the third one they were just like, all right, we're gonna.
Oh, did it actually just?
I think the third one did wrap up the story.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not sure. Maybe that's not true.
Was it
they were supposed to be 5? No, it's Secrets of Dumbledore.
Oh, dude, I
didn't even I haven't even seen that one.
No, I think you're right. I didn't even see this one either. Did they actually wrap it up? I'm just gonna like look at the plot. We should probably end fairly soon.
We can end soon. But point is that franchises are difficult to manage. You know, how do you? And it's so. And you know what's weird about it is that it's so easy from a comic perspective, because like Star Wars excels. Well, maybe not excels, but like a lot of those franchises like have other forms that they can take that allows it to have this sort of expansionary element of it. Like Star Wars has Legends, Star Wars has all those comics, Marvel has all its comics, because Marvel, I think, to a different degree than Star Wars or maybe Harry Potter does, but it also suffers the weight of its own identity upon itself.
Yeah, glancing at the Wikipedia page, it doesn't look like they actually like fully resolved the plot, but it
Mm.
was like kind of clear that it was not
Done.
gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like yeah, Grindelwald isn't actually like defeated, which is like supposed to be the main bad guy. So
Dope. I'm glad that was a really useful,
Yeah.
money well spent, I suppose. But anyway, franchises, slow
It's
down,
hard.
maybe. Slow down.
It's hard. Yeah, it's
Take
hard.
it easy.
It's hard.
It doesn't have to be it doesn't
Get
have
it
to be
right.
the MCU, man.
Get it right.
Not
Slow
everything
down.
has to be the MCU.
Get it right.
Throwing money at it's not going to help you.
Yeah. Sit down and really be like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Sit down with your writers and actually get good.
And maybe that's
the grand irony is I think only the prequel trilogy was fully planned out of the three Star Wars trilogies. That's the irony of it all.
To a degree, potentially.
To a certain extent, it shows. Kind of. I think they do a pretty good job in the OT, but yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it had moving parts, but there was generally, things were going to be different potentially. Han Solo was going to die.
True. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's good.
Star Wars.
We went kind of long. I might be late to hang out with my friends with us, but that's totally fine.
May the 4th be with you all.
That's
on this February 22nd.
But yeah.
Junk it out.
Junk it out, I guess.
Junk your shit.
Ball up, father.